Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We want to welcome you to this community forum. We want to thank you for taking your time out to come this evening to discuss some important issues that are major concern for our community. My name is Reverend Lewis Anderson, Jr. I am the president of the Charlotte County Grant NAACP, and I'm one of the organizers of the community task force, which consists of all of our community leaders. We started to help us head a few years back to organize and form a dialogue with leaders. 2 years later, we're still standing. It was organized so all the leaders can come together, so that we could be transparent with one another, so that we may be productive in our conversations with citizens of Charlotte County. The goal is that we all speak the same thing. We support one another in all the agencies, in every department. We stick together. Sometimes we have heated discussions, but it's not for us to be divided. It's for us to bring a community together. So as we will not prolong it any longer, we will have an opening prayer by Reverend Ellison Haddock, sitting pastor to the Macedonian Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Carl F. Brooks, give the leadership. Let me pray.
Sure, God is. Heavenly Father, we come this evening, first of all, to say thank you for another day. We thank you, God, for this forum, these leaders that have come together. Thank you for this task force, the NAACP, and all those that it takes to make up this forum. Lord, we just ask now that you continue to keep us focused on our mission, that we continue to want to unify and come together, collaborate together, that we all will be a better community, both city and county, and throughout the state even. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity. We ask, oh God, that you would, as we come, that you would gel our minds together, that, Heavenly Father, we would have positive dialogue, and that we would continue to keep the dialogue open, so that we may all grow together. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Again, welcome you all, and so that we won't waste a lot of time to get straight to the reason why we're here this evening. At this table, we will allow the representatives to introduce themselves, and we will give the floor to everyone that's in here. There, so that if we have to direct a question
get a lot of questions as to why Officer Cole is still on paid administrative leave. The bottom line is that's the law. Florida law mandates that Officer Cole, irrespective of these circumstances, be owed what they call due process under a Florida statute that is outlined with the Police Officer Bill of Rights. Irrespective of how you feel about it, that's the law. We're obligated to follow it. So until he gets his due process, which actually won't start until after the criminal investigation, that's essentially where that stands. So we await the state attorney's office ruling. At that point, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement will become public, and there'll be a lot more details that we'll be able to share as far as that is concerned. So I apologize that there's not a lot more information that I can share in reference to that, but it would be inappropriate considering that we have an internal affairs investigation that is pending after the state attorney's office rules. Other than that, I am happy to report we're about to release our crime numbers, and it does appear preliminarily that crime is again down. That would be the lowest crime rate in the past 22 years, possibly longer, but our police department did not track crime rate prior to 22 years ago. So we couldn't possibly be on a better track. We are the second safest city in Southwest Florida standing, and our crime rate continues to go down. Violent crime is non-existent from a comparative level when you start to take a look at all the communities that surround us. So those are probably the biggest things going into the police department. Yeah, that's real interesting.
Are there any questions for Chief Lewis?
Yes, if there is a FOIA request about different people in your department that have looked me up through the years, are you not supposed to respond to that and explain what those different NCIC, FCIC requests are for?
For those of you, just for explanation, by introduction, this is Andrew Sheets. He runs a group called COPWATCH. He is an anti-law enforcement, anti-government type personality. A FOIA request, as he had mentioned, is a public records request. There are individuals in our agency that have run his information through our computer system, which could be for a host of different reasons. One of the reasons is we consider Mr. Sheets an officer safety threat. He has aligned himself with a gentleman by the name of Ian McGuire, who was the gentleman, I don't know if you saw him on Facebook, says two Orlando cops killed, God bless the shooter. He has sent a number of emails, Facebook, videos, all that type of sort of stuff. So I encourage all of my officers to become very familiar with him, especially considering the environment that we have out here today. To directly answer your question, if you would like a public records request filled, we will be more than happy to fill that. If you're demanding any type of public comment, we are not going to take your request seriously. So the answer is no.
I already did make the request. Cassini denied it today.
And we'll consider your request.
That's why I did it here in this forum, just so you are aware.
No problem.
Are there any other questions for Chief Lewis? And sir, I'm glad that you raised your question. I'm glad that Chief responded and clarified everything to us. So that this meeting will not get out of proportion, we will allow maybe 3 to 5 minutes for the question and the answer. With the understanding that each representative here, if they feel as though they can't, because of integrity to their agency, answer the question, they have that right. I think that's fair. Okay, so again, is there any other questions for Chief Lewis in the Punta Gorda Police Department? Yes, sir.
Chief, it feels like after 4 months, we're owed more than just that it's under investigation, I can't speak. There must be something that you can share with the community. We've all been very patient, and it does have the appearance of the government investigating itself, through different departments, but people that are sympathetic to the police are investigating it. And it seems like an outside bodies should be brought in to investigate this. It seems like this is an extraordinary length of time for something that appears quite simple to investigate. There aren't that many questions. There's 4 or 5 questions that beg answers, and it just is not that complicated that it should be dragging on this long.
Well, I definitely would agree with most of your statements. Considering something was captured on video, there's 50 witnesses that actually saw all of the events unfold. I would agree with you. This seems like an inordinate amount of time to solve all this. The unfortunate thing is that when you decide not to investigate yourself, which is, we certainly had the ability to do that here, but public confidence and trust was something that we were holding dear considering the circumstances. We allowed other entities to come in and take over. Once we did that, we essentially alleviated ourselves of the ability to control those timelines. So that is, it's very frustrating. Trust me, I'm just as frustrated as everybody else. This has continued to drag on as long as it has. But the bottom line is the integrity of the investigation is more important than me trying to stomp my feet in front of somebody and trying to get them to hurry up. I just have absolutely no control over that. So I share your frustration, but unfortunately, hopefully the investigation will be over soon and we can release all the rest of the details. We did, however, upload onto a separate website or a separate web page on our website any and all information that we're able to release. It's been there almost since day one, so we are sharing everything that we can as long as it's appropriate to do so. Yes, sir. Can you state your name, please?
My name's Harry Cruz. I have started a video project, basically following the concepts and policy of the department of doing the right thing. And I was wondering how the department in Punta Gorda feels about the body cameras. I mean, that would definitely be able to have a lot of accountability, and when things are done correctly, can help support the department.
Currently, right now, every one of our patrol cars, marked units, is equipped with an in-car video system. So our officers are constantly recording themselves on every traffic stop, call for service. If they run code, it's activated with your lights. It can also be activated remotely. We are very much in favor of video. One of the issues is the cost. As a government entity, somebody who is required to produce public records, those systems have to be backed up, which requires server space, which also require technicians to either fix, replace, or maintain those servers. By adding streaming video, which is an overabundance of data, you may go from 1 or 2 in-car videos to now hours and hours of body cam video where there might be 4 officers per scene, and you could be essentially quadrupling the amount of data that you need to store and maintain. So from a cost perspective, the body cameras, let's face it, you can buy the normal capital outlay to push the project, but that's not really what the cost is. Aside from that, when you videotape people with an in-car video camera, you're typically in a public place. So there's not a whole host of issues with filming people. However, if you go into somebody's home or you go into other sensitive areas, now you're talking about staff time that they need to go back and redact those videos once the public records request come in. So it's a lot more complicated than just slap a body cam on and enjoy the video. So from a cost perspective, we look at everything from cost benefit. Today's day and age in Punta Gorda, we are just making decisions based on cost and what we believe the public benefit would be. And until we get those things worked out, we're not going to be pursuing body cameras. Yes, sir.
My name is Gordon Goldman. I'd be interested in hearing from the chief his perception of the force and their reaction to some of our young people who may become in contact with, who may choose the expression screw up in some way. What are the skills, what are the values that you see that we in the schools should be doing more about in terms of those kinds of understanding?
Well, I think one of the things that the school does very well is integrating our police department. As you may know, we have a school resource officer at every city school, Sally Jones, PRUMMELL, and Charlotte High. I myself actually, last week I taught a second grade class, the American Revolution. I went in there, did a reading class today for kindergartners. So I think we get a lot of good exposure. We hold a jammers program during the summer where our officers actually volunteer their entire summer and teach kids that are out there at at-risk age. So you're talking between 11 and 13, 9 and 13? 9 and 13. So I think we do a fair job. I mean, obviously you guys know that we host and run the Do the Right Thing program where we recognize kids every month. And there's a whole host of other youth programs that we get involved with. As far as the school is concerned, I think they do a great job partnering with us. I don't know, absent of adding more staff to specifically focus on that, I don't know that we could really be doing any better. When kids, I forget what terminology is, but when they're out there doing the wrong thing, we definitely support civil citation programs and other diversion type programs.
We have a civil first warning kind of approach with them?
Yeah, we like to involve parents and our school resource officers and our teachers as far as fixing the problem long-term rather than incarceration. Unfortunately, some offenses require that, but we're definitely trying to steer them away from the criminal justice system, you know, as opposed to giving them a permanent record.
Are you required by state or some other reason for marijuana offenses in terms of going ahead without first warning?
No, right now there are no legal parameters that are forced upon law enforcement agencies. I mean, obviously everybody in this room probably knows Amendment 2 passed. So the Department of Health had 6 months from January 3rd to develop the rules, and a total of 9 months to actually implement those rules. The Florida Police Chiefs Association has some concerns that they're going to meet those deadlines, and what that ultimately means for our community and how we're going to enforce that when that time comes, I'll be honest, still has yet to be seen. We are working on, you may have heard, I'm the recent president of Southwest Florida Police Chiefs. We actually have a speaker coming in next month to our monthly meeting to give us an update on where they're at with that and, you know, how our local law enforcement can structure enforcement efforts from that point forward.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Anderson.
Yes, sir. Mr. Anderson, if I can kind of bring more of a social setting with these groups. I put together a lot of health career camps in the area through Macedonian Youth Resources. And I actually just made a call into them. This camp that we actually started Saturday, it is about teaching high school kids and introducing them to health careers. So I asked if they would put together a K-9, a dive team, and crime team. So they're truly working on something to help our kids see a better vision, because the health career field is one of the most dominant aspects of our growth for our kids, especially when it comes to financial stability. So they're always in the community. I met with them 2 weeks ago, giving some kids some help in the community. So for those individuals who don't see the other side of what they do personally, they are always come out giving my kids best during the summer. 14 years with my health career camp, they've always brought the kids in, both the Punta Gorda Police Department, and we go to the fire department, and they open the doors from the back, whatever the kids need. So, yeah, the relationship is strong. So, phone calls, just personally to him and his crew, he always fully catch that car and stuff like that. So, we got a great relationship. Her first only job like that. Miss Jenna. So, yeah, we got a good relationship with the officers when it comes to expanding things for our kids to do open environment.
We commend one of our police department on the steadfastness, on the integrity, on the dedication. One thing that I want to say as a leader and president of the ATP, we want to thank you. We know it's been a tough journey, uphill battle, but you're doing a good job. Glad to have Councilman Cummings in our presence this week. We will now move, if there are no more questions for us, from our police department. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a quick question. On the car cameras, we've already had a situation with the car cameras in multiple different cases where we did a FOIA request to get the video, and the video might be messed up or the audio's messed up. When we found out they're supposed to be checking to make sure they work every single day so that doesn't happen. Is that happening now? Are you checking it every single day to make sure it works?
What Mr. Chief is referring to is, as an officer comes on shift, by policy, they're required to check and make sure video is working, and the audio is working. If not, we have a specific form that they fill out for a maintenance request. The issue became the two separate microphones. One that the officer wears on his body, so when he's outside the car, you can see him on the video, you actually still get the audio, so you can, better determine what's going on. However, the vehicle itself, the interior of the vehicle, is also recorded.
get put into a system. And we all know how hard it is once you get into a system. You get typecast as a person, and sometimes it's hard to get out of it. And that's not fair. That's not fair to start these young people out in that realm. It's identified. We understand that, and we don't want to see that happen. So I think, we're really moving forward in that venture, and hopefully our kids will benefit and so our community.
Well, obviously, you're not in charge of the court. So what about the court? Do they have a community service option?
They absolutely do. And that all goes through our teen courts, and I'm not well versed on that, so to really speak on it in that realm, yeah, we do have a teen court program.
Yeah, the court system has many diversion programs, whether it be drug court, mental health court, they have a host of other juvenile diversion programs. A lot of the Justice Center staff, as well as judges, actually sit on committees with myself and the sheriff to talk about other options that we can use to get juveniles out of the criminal justice system. So, across the criminal justice world, everybody's on the same page.
Another thing to kind of parlay off our juvenile citations is the sheriff is really pushing for, and I know Chief Luce is also become, having all of our deputies trained for crisis stabilization calls, which is crisis stabilization. So we know how to identify when somebody, sometimes when they're not on their medications, that they commit crimes. And sometimes at this point, we don't really have any place to put them but in jail. And that's not the place where they're going to thrive and succeed. So we've now gone pushing the sheriff, is really pushing to have every one of our deputies trained. Again, there's financing, there's costs behind all that. And we work well with Charlotte Behavioral, and we're at several boards that we sit on to try to combat this problem and to really identify the people who need help compared to somebody who's really committed a crime. And I think that's a big push that we need to try to identify, even as a community, to help out.
I don't know exactly who this may be directed to, but I'm not as familiar with the system. Minneapolis system, how it is, but the school resource officer, or someone else responsible for truancy with that program.
I guess I could get it. I can.
It's a combination, literally. We have social workers in the school system that work specifically with truancy, in conjunction with, many times, the deputies that are assigned to the school, from doing house visits. Usually a deputy will go with, because it's safer, obviously. But it's very much in conjunction to make sure whenever a family is struggling with truancy, and it's a family issue, we tackle it not just alone, but in conjunction with them. And so far, it's worked very well.
Well, not right now, but are there programs before we get to the court system?
Absolutely. Many levels before that. Again, in-home visits, counseling sessions at the school, and that's just on our side.
Normally truancy doesn't even make it to the court. Truancy is identified well before that, and if we can't reach some kids prior to that, unfortunately, they went the wrong way, too far. Truancy, we try to identify very quickly. For example, we've had a deputy this past year, literally, had an at-risk person, had one credit to go, or one grade to finish. We went to her house every day and picked her up and brought her to school, or contacted her in some way to help the parents get the kids to school. And this person graduated with a degree over the summer, and it was a great thing. Truancy is really, we don't want to put truancy.
And I think the key to understanding the relationship between not just the two legal organizations, but them with us, is within the school system, they're almost looked at as part of the leadership team. When you have leadership meetings, they're involved. So when you're discussing many different aspects of what's happening at the school, they're a vital component to that. And because of that, it doesn't get to the truancy stage. If we see a red flag, they're involved way in advance. Social workers involved, guidance counselor, all those people get involved so that it doesn't end in the court system. And that's because of the relationship we have with them and then with our schools.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago, I think, maybe not quite that long, but in this very room, there was the first forum between the community and the police and sheriff's departments and the NASD. And that the chief of police then put sort of was like delighted at how profiling is such a wonderful thing and how it worked for him, and he just loved it. And I was just shocked. I don't really expect anything like that coming out of our chief's mouth at all. My only encounter with the sheriff, I found to be an outright bully. That was about 3 years ago. I hope your department is learning something. I'd like to know what your attitude on profiling, especially people of color, and I want to know.
My opinion on.
No, what the sheriff's department, what is the sheriff's department?
We have a policy against profiling.
Against profiling.
We don't profile.
And do you keep data on it?
In what realm?
Ask the chief, because he keeps a lot of data. I don't know how you all keep data.
I mean, we keep data.
Did you get the report that I sent out earlier? Okay, and I can speak a little bit, okay? We are an accredited agency, as well as the sheriff's office.
Okay.
One of the accreditation standards is that we do track all of that data. We analyze on an annual basis whether or not our traffic stops are disproportionately pulling over black males, or Hispanic males, or Asian males, or white males. A lot of that is compared to our local demographics. Of course, we're not just a sleepy town anymore. I mean, with US 41, we have a lot of traffic coming in and out. We attract a lot of tourists. So tracking those type of profiles sometimes gets a little tricky with analyzing the data. But with that said, I think it's pretty easy to tell if you're disproportionately writing tickets or traffic stops or arrests or what have you, disproportionately. So did I put that out yesterday or was that today? Today. I apologize. Sometimes the day is. So earlier today, I pumped that out. We try to be as transparent as possible. Our annual bias-based analysis actually goes out to as many people as we can get it to in our community. I assure you, the sheriff's office tracks the exact same data, does the exact same analysis, and whether or not he shares that on an annual basis, that I don't know, but I can assure you that there are processes in place for any accredited agency.
I'd like the public really to know what the sheriff's department is doing nowadays, so maybe in the paper you can let us know, or.
Sure, I'll relay that to the sheriff, if we'll be a little more transparent about that, absolutely. I'm sure he would not have a problem with that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ma'am, if I get your email, I can email it to you tomorrow. You can give me your email address. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is for both of you. I've worked with Lutheran Services and for CCPS. And over the past 3 years, there was an uptick of children separated from the parents for the drug use. Have you seen a curve in that, or is it still high?
We don't see too much of it here in the city, as far as separating families. I mean, we do see it. I think maybe about a month ago was our last one, but it is definitely rare, so I don't want to speak on the whole county.
I couldn't give a specific number if it's up or down at this junction, but I do know from investigations and from spending my time in that vicinity, the last thing you want to do is take your child away from the parent, like if they're screaming down in the central method. DCF becomes completely involved at that point. A lot of the times they have a say in that, and it's not so much the sheriff's office or the police department.
Yeah, I can assure you, we don't make the decision to take the children away from the parents, absent of an arrest situation.
But I mean, the drug, it's like.
I could probably address that a little better. My name is L.A. Gaines, as I said before, I'm president of Easy Drugs Club Incorporated. We're the only self-contained, self-owned alcohol and drug treatment facility for meetings in Charlotte County. We've been around for 40 years. We own our properties, we own our buildings. We're open 365 days a year. We have four meetings daily, and then on Fridays and Saturdays we have 6 meetings that we have. We have Al-Anon as well as Al-Ateen. And what basically happens a lot of times is that because of the traffic that is involved in most drug use, DCF does come in and take families. I just got to deal with the family this past week where the child was given to a dad, not because the mom was drug out or strung out, but just because of the traffic that was going in, and it was the appearance, okay, that was not a healthy environment for the child. And because of the loss, there's been a few losses of people's lives and health directly related to the living environment. DCF is more aggressive because it's better to take the child lives than to let the child stay in there, then the child dies, then everybody says, well, DCF, you should have took the kid. So yeah, Mike, it's not as bad as it could be, but there are a lot of instances where kids are being placed in the foster care until that can be clarified.
But the drug arrest in the, I don't know what areas is worse than others, but have you seen increase or decrease?
Well, I'll answer that twofold. I don't necessarily know that there's been an increase, per se. Here's what's very strange about drug arrest. It's very hard to analyze whether the drug problem is getting worse or getting better based upon an increase in the number of arrests. It's a very proactive environment.
commissioners, city council, school board, etc., CCI. We sit down once a month at the top of the library at Cooper Street, and we iron things out so that when we come before the community, they will have a full understanding of what we're doing as leaders. There are no hidden agendas here. Whatever you read in the newspaper, there's no hidden agenda. Because we are not here for ourselves, we're here for the kids and the future of Charlotte County. And just to share with you, we had a question about racial profiling.
Yeah.
Since then, our reports, our dialogue is minimal. You're gonna have some ups and some downs. You're gonna have some, as Chief and Michelle would agree with me, you'll have some rookie cops. And they may want to rise to the top quickly. Don't really know all the rules and regulations. But therefore, what happens is that their superiors find out about it, and we communicate about it. They take the necessary corrective action within their agency. And just to share with you, Chief Lewis was saying about the bias report, just to give just a little bit so we can move on. It said police arrest records reveal that, it's okay for me to okay. Police arrest records reveal that a total of 606 arrests were made during the 2016 calendar year. A total of 518, that's 85.5 individuals who are white were arrested. 77, which is 12.7% individuals who were black were arrested. 0 individuals who is American Indian was arrested. 11, that's 1.8% individuals unknown or not classified were arrested. So what we're doing here as a task force is working for the community. So we just need support of the community to help us better Charlotte County. And better. Yes, ma'am. I didn't say 1 minute. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to ask you something. Are you planning to have another forum?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I found it rather strange, the organization of that forum. It was, as I understood, it was the first forum that the community ever had to talk with the police department. And the room was full. Remember that? The room was absolutely full. I thought it was amazing. And there was every age group. There were young people, teenagers, older people, people from all walks of economic strata were in the room. And I guess I don't know if it was for efficiency or what exactly, but you had these like recipe cards that you gave out, and people were supposed to write down their questions and then send it up to the panel. First, there shouldn't have been a panel. We should all have been on the floor and, in a circle, no dais with all the, cops with the uniforms. Anyway, it would seem to me a lifetime of experiences that you get your first opportunity to actually stand up and emote or ask a question or whatever, and let somebody know how you actually feel. To try to find the words for that and put it on a recipe card was impossible. I think I wrote the majority of the cards that you ended up answering because it was not possible anyone can understand that, and it didn't make any sense. So
this is why, let me cut you out right quick. This is why we did it this way, so that you could raise your hand.
Good.
Ask your question.
Good.
Okay?
Yes. And maybe next time, when it comes to the whole community, we will not have a table with all the experts up there. We will be in a room down here, all equal.
Well, we are leaders.
No,
who are experts in their
they're experts in their own life.
Possibly the cards are a good idea for those that are afraid to speak.
Yes, sir.
So I'm pretty new to town. How was this advertised, this forum, to the general public? I didn't see anything. I had to really dig to find something that was coming up. how did the general public find out? And if they are being told about it, I'm amazed at the level of disinterest from the general public and the residents.
This is how-
Is this normal?
This is how word of mouth, we filter it through newspaper, and all we
It was
can
in the
expect-
newspaper?
Yes, sir. All that we can expect is that the community would take an interest in what we're doing.
Do you feel it's sad that
No, I don't feel
so
bad
few-
because, this is progress. This is progress.
How many
You said
people are here that are not part of
You said that you are
the
new to town, right?
Yes.
So this is progress tonight.
Wow.
These are the concerned citizens. These are the people that want to make a difference. And what will happen in this meeting, they will go back and tell somebody else. So the next forum, we hope, will be much larger. Mr. Anderson, and then we're gonna move to superintendent school.
Well, I'm gonna try to move to superintendent if you don't mind, but Reverend is right, that there are people in the room that have a unique way of making sure that people in the community get the message. There are certain ways, and it's gonna happen. Not a lot of people here that's true. School events get to be at basketball, football, doing this, that. But for the community as a whole, there are people in the room that carry the message, how the message got to the community. It is distributed to the churches and the other places in the community as well. Okay? So let's not discredit the voice of the community. It is the right way to move forward. And for Mr. D, I have two questions if you don't mind.
Let me go.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, brother. Have law enforcement
I just want to say that probably what's happened over the past 3 years is a result that there's so few people here because that many people are not that upset. At the school board meeting, it's not that you're excited, but when there's an uproar and people are upset about somebody, they come out in force in this community. This was advertised and known. So if there were a lot of people that were terribly upset about this room would be packed. And obviously they're not, because what these gentlemen in these uniforms and the community's doing themselves.
Thank you. Now we will move to Charlotte County Schools. I'll turn it over to our superintendent.
Thank you. Again, I thank everyone for coming, being a part of this. First, I'd like to congratulate someone in the room. She's going to probably hate me now I'm about to say this, but yesterday we had or the other night, yesterday, it's been a long day already. We had our teacher and support employee
However, if you did indeed then have a letter written, or the child's parent wrote a letter, then I think that would solve all of the problems. So there should probably be some way of managing that for, so
That's what I'm
that
asking.
you
Is there
would be
a
able
way that we
to.
can come together and look at that?
Yes.
Because it would help, again, statistically, they would do better in the class.
Absolutely.
I'm certain there's a way, but what there isn't a way is for us to not have your name on that card.
Right.
Because the safety will and always will come first. And, just, you would, not you, because I know you very well.
Yes, sir.
But you wouldn't be the first person to say, I know that kid.
No, and I don't want my issue to be somebody else's issue either, right? Because I'm talking about bloodline that would bring better activity for those who are close to me, right? Because they mothers and fathers may not have the time, may just not feel right. Right?
Again, I think it's
I'm not talking
a matter
about
of
going
making.
outside of it. I don't want my problem to be somebody else.
No, I just think it's a matter of making sure we get a protocol set up for that situation. I don't see that.
Thank you. One more question. Let's talk about, the response of the automatic defibrillator. Right? I know recently we've been having responses in our schools with this. I've been trying to work really close, but I haven't been getting the right response with getting into the school system to also help build response teams for each individual school with this device. We need better activity with CPR, but this automatic defibrillator is truly giving our kids a better chance based on the responses that have been making. So how can we create a better environment within that? Because it says that the custodian truly is the best responder. The best responder when it comes to the automatic defibrillator. Because he opens and closes the school, he closes the school, he has keys, golf carts, radio to respond. So he's the better value, and I don't think we're looking at that process the right way in our school system, through the studies, through the activities. And I've been trying to get in, trying to ask how we bring a better relationship with it.
He's right there. I've been taking notes.
Okay, I got two things.
Have you talked to this person, do you know?
Well, I have, but I've been more over, and I don't want to put nobody on the forefront, but I've been close with Coach Buglio.
Yes.
With his activity,
Yes.
being close to the response.
And I do know at the high school level, at all of our high schools, we do have working AEDs.
Yes, sir.
In particular, mobile AEDs.
Yes, sir.
So when you have the athletes that are on the field, the last thing you want to do is run into the gym to bring your AED out there. And I do know, with 100% certainty, at the high school level, our coaches and our administrators know how to respond to those circumstances. Are you referring to more the elementary and middle school levels?
Okay, we have fire drills, right?
Yes.
Do we have in our school system, do we have cardiac arrest drills?
We do not.
Which one is gonna happen more?
I guess we could argue that.
I don't think so. We don't have much fires, but I think we have a lot of cardiac arrest incidents that we have to respond to.
I'm not against us doing drills to have people ready to handle those situations. I think that's a great idea.
Yes, sir.
To put them on the schedule that we do a fire drill monthly and that.
No, sir.
But I'm not against us looking at that. I think it's a great idea. Because you're right, it would be a bad moment for the school district. We should have looked at that.
We're looking at it right now.
Yes, sir. Every SRO that's in any school was CPR and AED training.
Oh, yes, sir.
They get recurring drills every single year to get recertified, so.
I deal with a lot of coaches, a lot of new police staff, I train every 2 years through our area. But I'm talking about ripping a response better than the average. Right? Maybe some accreditation
rules that we have to follow. So we make a very conscious effort through the teachers and the support staff on the front line with the kids to not stress that test to that degree. Even though at the end of the day, they have to pass that test.
Right.
We talk a lot about the whole child, not just can they take a test, can they pass a test. They have to be able to do much more than that to be productive members down the road in society. And the more you stress to them, remember, yes, you have to do well in that, but you have to be able to balance all these other things. And, you know, Ms. Kitsday talked earlier about the group that meets, the child group, and that's all the way up through secondary also. It's not just an elementary thing. And when we see a kid starting to get a little more stressed, teachers can refer people to that group and say, hey, I think this one might be on the verge of putting just a little bit too much pressure on them. Or maybe mom and dad are putting a little bit too much pressure on them. Or some cases, maybe someone that works after school is forcing that pressure. Either way, we have to closely watch it because you are correct. Can it be an indicator? Certainly it can. Certainly it can.
You also do portfolio assessment?
Absolutely.
I just had a comment. You were kidding, what a question I got. pilot school is looking at restorative justice, trying to teach students how to make amends for what they do, and instead of just sending them home, in a lot of cases, sending them home when there's nobody at home to watch them. Okay, that makes no sense. We're trying to reduce those numbers.
So where do they go?
Excuse me?
Where do they go?
For students that
Are suspended.
are suspended, if you're suspended, you're going home. If you're externally suspended now,
Are you saying this is in lieu of?
in lieu of suspension. We're looking at, for example, peer mediation. We're looking at restorative justice circles. We use our guidance counselors, our social workers to talk to kids.
Where do
We are,
they go?
where the students typically at the school site. We do have in-school suspension, but we're also trying to reduce those numbers as well. So just trying a bag of tricks, and to be honest with you, I think a big part of that is keeping kids involved. I know at the middle school level, I think one of the reasons our numbers for in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension look a lot better than what they did is the school board and the superintendent made a commitment to bring back middle school sports. Get kids involved instead of just going home at the end of the day. Not just through sports, through clubs and activities at the elementary, middle, and high school level. So take all that stuff, all those bag of tricks. I think it has to pay dividends. Like I said, this school year, we have 0 expulsions so far for a student body population of just under 16,000. So there's not one golden answer on how to get the job done, but a lot of it does come back to the school site. If you can hire teachers, support staff, as an example, we work together at Fort Charlotte Middle. You can hire individuals, whether they be support staff, teachers, administrators, fourth district office personnel. Can they build relationships with kids? Can they work with families? If you can, that might sound really simple, but if you can hire individuals like that, that goes a long way to implement what our goal is, and that's the student success. So, Reverend Anderson, those are just some ideas of what we're doing.
Any other questions?
I want to throw that in, maybe I keep want to call you Deshaun Watson. I keep going, Mr. Watson, Mr. Watson. Because Riley's going to talk to you. That's very important, Mr. Riley. Talk a little bit about the Saturday morning thing that you're going to do. To me, that's just an incredible idea, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, absolutely. I was for you guys in the area that don't know anything about me, I was in Broward for 20 years before I transitioned to Charlotte County. And one thing that we used to do, in that 20 years, it was a inner city school. We did not have one white student at that school. But one thing that I implemented there, and I thought it would be a great idea here as well, is Saturday school. Now, what is Saturday school? Saturday school is an initiative to, in lieu of suspension, to keep our students in school. So we had this past Saturday, in fact, and basically it's a work detail. Students come out and we debrief our beds and wash windows and stack bricks. And before I go any further, I have to thank Mr. Montree because I told her about it at the last Martin Luther King, well, a couple weeks ago at the Martin Luther King breakfast. And her first reply was, when is your next one? And could you please email me the next time you have it and have it scheduled? And it was this past Saturday, and she came with a smiling glove. So thank you, Mr. Montree. So again, it is an initiative to keep our students in school. One thing that the first time I did in Broward County, the parents just dropped their child off, and they went to the beach because Fort Lauderdale Beach is real close. And so it's from 8 to 12, and I had parents picking up their child at 2:30 from the club, and I could not run to my office fast enough because I had to revise that letter. And I revised the letter to say that you have to accompany your son and your daughter to therapy.
All new on Wink News at 6.
The chief has been doing a PR campaign about, I'm open, I'm honest, anything you want to talk about. Well, he doesn't want to talk about these other incidents. He didn't release these other incidents until you had to go digging through like a madman to find them.
Wink News pushes to get memos from the Punta Gorda Police Department about Lee Cole, the cop who shot 73-year-old Mary Knowlton during a shoot, don't shoot citizens demonstration back in August. These are memos that have never been made public before.
And tonight we'll tell you about the memo from an officer who trains other cops witnessing Lee Cole making what she basically calls a wrongful arrest. Wink News investigative reporter Dave Colbreth has the exclusive.
This sort of stuff should be unacceptable in any law enforcement agency.
He was a one-man wrecking crew in Punta Gorda, and nobody tried to stop him.
Is he fabricating things? Is he making things up just to make the arrest?
3 longtime Charlotte County attorneys, all who have also been prosecutors in their career, read this memo about an arrest made by Lee Cole, which the Punta Gorda police never released until Wink News spent a great deal of effort and hundreds of dollars.
Just shows that the Punta Gorda Police Department was hiding this stuff. Every news agency in the country was asking for these type of documents.
The memo really hit home for Steve Leskovich because it was about his client, Jacob Hill.
You always hear about corruption, but then to actually read it and know that it happens to someone you know is actually quite disheartening.
On June 23, 2015, Officer Bonnie Buckaloo sent this memo to the Punta Gorda Police administrators.
They knew roughly 8 hours after this arrest.
Buckaloo, along with another officer, came upon Lee Cole, who had pulled Hill over for driving the wrong way on this one-way street. First, Cole had his dog sniff around the vehicle for drugs, but it did not detect any. After that, Cole said that he was changing hats and now going to try for a DUI.
He's fishing for something.
Buckaloo also wrote that Cole did not ask any of the related DUI questions and that she did not observe anything that would indicate an impaired driver.
Falling over, stumbling, no odor of alcohol, no bloodshot, watery eyes. None of that information is written anywhere in any of the reports.
Buckaloo summed it up by writing that Cole performed the requested sobriety exercises without any notable concerns, and that he probably should not have been placed under arrest.
It's shocking to read an officer's report that says another officer was seeking or finding a reason to make an arrest. Why is he even arrested?
Apparently, that's also what people in the state attorney's office wondered, because Wink News obtained these documents from them, where a prosecutor writes, I do not see how there was enough for a DUI arrest, and if that's out, then there's no probable cause to search.
I would bet $1,000 the state attorney had no idea that there was another officer on scene who believes that this was a false arrest.
So, the state attorney's office started playing Let's Make a Deal and said it would drop 5 of the 7 charges, including 2 felonies and the DUI.
DUI getting dropped? Almost never. I mean, it is a very, very rare circumstance.
I can count on one hand how many times a DUI has been dismissed prior to charges being filed. This is one of them.
When the state attorney's office offered to drop most of the charges, Jacob Hill pled to minor possession of weed and got out of jail immediately.
He pled to those because he was in jail for 35 days and he needed to get out. Who's not going to take that?
Wink News talked to Jacob Hill, who lost his driver's license for a whole year, his apartment, and his job.
And now when he's looking for employment, what shows up on his background? A DUI. Who the heck's going to hire somebody with that kind of record?
So, what did the Punta Gorda police do about this memo? It said it was successfully prosecuted with the means of a plea.
And I have to tell you this. Any department that defines this as a successful prosecution, they should all resign.
Without asking, the Punta Gorda police also gave us emails saying things like, Buckaloo seems to have an obvious dislike for Lee Cole, stating to other officers that she refuses to acknowledge him or back him up on traffic stops.
She's one of their current own. She's part of the blue line. You don't cross it. She crossed it.
Would he have taken that plea had you known about this
email, this memo?
Absolutely not.
When I talked with Jacob Hill, he said he came down here because he's a roofer and needed to work year-round. Well, after all this, he said no one would hire him, so he had to go back to northern Minnesota, and he said, try making a living there doing roofing in the winter. When we asked the Punta Gorda police for an interview, we were told the chief will not be providing an interview on the memo you referenced, continuing the public discussion of Officer Cole's work product prior to the conclusion of both FDLE's investigation and our own internal investigation is unfair and possibly improper on our end. That memo, as well as last night's story regarding those other memos, are on our website at winknews.com. Dave Colbreth, Wink News Now.
I think that that was a sign of just arrogance. I mean, you don't need to double and triple check yourself. You don't need to have other people double and triple check you. You don't have to have a procedure in place. You don't have to make sure. Like, all of those things just make me sick to my stomach.
On August 9th, 3 dozen people watched as a Punta Gorda police officer shot and killed a woman during a Citizens Academy demonstration. Officer Lee Cole's still on paid administrative leave after the death of 73-year-old Mary Knowlton. But could it have been prevented?
Tonight, only Wink News has memos that were not in Cole's personnel file. After weeks of requests and hundreds of dollars spent, Punta Gorda police finally gave us those memos with allegations of bad arrests, insubordination, and policy violation. Wink News investigative reporter Dave Colbreth has the details.
Nobody should be running around this town with a gun and a badge with these type of allegations against them.
No self-respecting law enforcement agency that I've ever encountered should be tolerating this kind of behavior.
Those are two longtime Charlotte County attorneys. Both of them were shocked when I showed them these memos obtained by Wink News after the Punta Gorda police fought hard to prevent us from getting them.
Just shows that the Punta Gorda Police Department was hiding this stuff. Every news agency in the country was asking for these type of documents.
These new memos show Lee Cole's problems with the Punta Gorda police. But Cole's problems started in his rookie year with the Miramar police, where he was involved in 2 internal affairs investigations. This one, where he yanked a man out of the back of his cruiser. After just 1 year, Cole was forced to resign. He then applied for jobs at over 2 dozen police agencies near Miami. Wink News obtained Cole's application files from most of them, who turned him down. So he then redirected his efforts to Southwest Florida, where the only agency interested in him was Punta Gorda. It was a year after he left Miramar when Cole was hired by Punta Gorda.
Miramar got it right. The other 25 police departments that refused to hire him got it right. Punta Gorda got it wrong.
Cole's personnel file with the Punta Gorda police shows many positive things he's done. But then there's these newly obtained memos that were not in his personnel file.
When you hire somebody that was asked to resign from a different police force, they should be on thin ice.
The first incident Wink News discovered is depicted in this memo. It was February 4th, 2015, when Cole accidentally discharged his taser at home. He was never disciplined.
To have an officer not check his taser before he does a spark test, that is Barney Fife stuff.
On October 23, 2015, a supervisor, Thomas Keegan, wrote this memo saying Cole was insubordinate to him and questioned his authority.
I think that him being insubordinate to his lieutenant seems to kind of go along with all of the other misconduct that he's alleged to have engaged in, because, you know, each one of those is kind of him being arrogant.
Then exactly 1 week later, Cole saw a man riding his bicycle at night without a light. The man wouldn't stop, so Cole sicked his dog on him. But Wink News has now learned from this email that there was what was called a community initiative in place, where officers were supposed to give warnings and free bicycle lights to people instead of arresting them. The Punta Gorda police ultimately settled with the man for $60,000, and over $120,000 worth of medical bills were written off by a hospital. The Punta Gorda police also hired an expert who determined that Cole did not do anything wrong.
I don't care what they say, you know, him allowing that dog to rip the chest wall out of a man who was driving without lights on a bicycle, that's insanity.
The dog bite issue got attention around the world, and Cole said he was receiving death threats. So he improperly accessed the state computer system to remove his name from public records. He got a slap on the wrist from Chief Tom Lewis, who, ironically, illegally accessed the same system himself 5 years earlier and got suspended.
As an attorney, I mean, the Florida bar would be smacking me around something fierce, because you can't just engage in constant misconduct. He's got 5 or 6 incidents of serious misconduct. He's still a cop.
We asked Punta Gorda police officials for an interview about this story, and we were told, quote, "The chief will not be providing an interview on the memos you referenced. Continuing the public discussion of Officer Cole's work product prior to the conclusion of both FDLE's investigation and our own internal investigation is unfair and possibly improper on our end." Now, after all of that, that's not the most egregious things these attorneys say Lee Cole has done. That involved a wrongful arrest. We'll have that tomorrow night in part 2 of this story. Dave Culbreth, Wink News Now.
These drugs and stuff, like the German jails, they would have, we got 7, I'm a Canadian originally, we got 7 times more.
Will you do me a favor?
What's that?
If you want to record me, I have no problem with that.
Right.
But this is not a public building.
Last time we were here, we already discussed it. They said we could.
But there are other people here that may not know that you're recording them.
Okay, last time I was here, I asked if I could record, they said yes.
I have no problem with it.
Right.
I believe the facility is probably in the same mindset as they were last time. But just out of common courtesy, let people know they're being recorded, please.
You're being recorded.
Well, everybody's here.
You have to let them know too. Are you running? He doesn't answer questions, I'm sorry.
Answer questions?
No.
You just did. You did.
If you have any questions for me, you can talk to my attorney, Kevin Shirley.
I gotta meet Kevin,
know
man.
Kevin, too. He
He's
sold me my
popular,
house.
man. He is popular.
Sold your house?
No, but he was the lawyer for the guy that sold when I bought my house 18 years ago.
You want me to sit here next to you, buddy?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyhow, should be interesting. Good. You're from you're Punta Gorda?
Oh, did you meet him yet?
So am I.
Now, tell me you was Canadian.
This is John Surcan. This is Ian. This is the guy that's doing all the filming, going for public records requests and stuff.
Oh.
They like him. They like him so much they trespass him.
They do. I'm very popular.
What was the latest video on? Looking for a trespasser. Jim Mello.
Oh, Jim Mello was trespassed from some real estate office for causing a disturbance in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And
But the only record you got was 2015. Is that the one?
yeah.
Oh.
But they were giving the other guy like a hard time about getting the record, so I had to go down there and straighten those things out with him.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom. And by the way, we tried to get L.A. Daniels and the black people to come today. I'm totally serious. Totally serious. I said, let's meet here and have a conversation.
It's a shame.
It is. So.
The meeting's canceled. Maybe next month. It's gonna be the same time, same place?
The meeting's canceled?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Well, we're the community.
Feedback from the Traby Woods community.
We can't be part of it.
You're not members of the Traby Woods community, no.
Oh my God, that's a good point.
You got your number,
You
man.
just told me a few minutes
man.
it's a meeting to discuss in the community, and now it's canceled.
Yeah.
Wow.
But seriously, I really appreciate you gentlemen.
No, but you told me a few minutes ago it's here to discuss a community discussion meeting, and now it's canceled.
Meeting's canceled, yes, sir.
Because I thought it was a community discussion meeting. That's what you told me a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we're members of the community. We like to be heard.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming.
When will Cole face justice? Will Officer Cole ever face justice, Mr. Lewis?
That's a great point. Ask again.
Will Officer Cole ever face justice, Chief Lewis?
What about Officer? What about Tom Lewis? Oh, so what do you want to do? Go for coffee? Let's not waste the time. I'm shocked too, man.
He just told me
that you're going to have a meeting, right?
And I says, what is it about? And he says, it's just a community to discuss things in the community.
Right, he wasn't specific on which community, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
no,
crazy.
But he just said community.
Exactly.
I says, what is it, about? And I says, well, that's great. That's what we should have.
Hey, worth it.
Okay.
Once they've got their mind made up.
All right, so what do you want to do? Let's not waste this. You want to do coffee somewhere or what?
Sure.
Harry, where's the closest?
Use this.
Where's the closest place for coffee?
We could have just used this community center. We don't have to have anybody here.
I can't.
That's what I can't figure out. This is a public place.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you don't even need any kind of permission to
Right.
I don't understand that.
He's supposedly saying I do have the right to film, but I'm supposed to let everybody know.
I don't believe that's true in Florida. Zoom in on this God we trust part. I'd like to find out what God they're talking about.
That is true.
What kind of trust is that?
So Ian, let's not waste it. Let's do coffee somewhere. Wait. All right, so John, you want to do coffee somewhere then? Where's the closest? I'm shocked too. Totally shocked. I'm totally shocked, man. So what do you want to follow us or?
Yeah, I'll follow you.
All right, we're down here. I'm in the white convertible.
Okay, I'll follow you.
So where do you want to go for coffee? Let's not waste it.
Whatever you decide, it's perfect. Man, I'm just easy to get along with, man.
He just shut the meeting down. He said we're not from the community, so he canceled it. So let's not waste it. What you want to do? Let's do coffee somewhere.
I'd give it about 2 or 3 minutes. These two just showed up for the meeting.
I know. Well, now 2 black people just showed up from the community, so are they going to have a meeting? I know, that's why he said, maybe wait a minute. Oh, have you ever seen anything like this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Are you here for the meeting? What? Are you here for the meeting? Hey, I think we got a meeting, man. We got another one. Yep. Your door. Okay, he still canceled it? All right, can I give you my card then? Hey, the reason why I showed up and the reason why he's freaking out, I unfortunately experienced the corruption here myself. So 3 years ago, I started Charlotte County COPWATCH. I was the guy that was in the newspaper and all 3 channels where they illegally looked me up on the David system. Not to bring me flowers, but to do bad things because I'm exposing the corruption here. So that's why I think I'm shocked he shut it down. So we need cops. You know we need cops. I know we need cops. We're trying to show people that we're here. You can hold them accountable. You can do different things. You know what I mean? Is it all right if I give you my business card? All right. So in 3 years, by the grace of God, I'm a Christian. The YouTube channel went nuts. 40 million views. 38,000 subscribers. In fact, I'll even give you my regular card. So I'm sorry that he did this. We seriously are here. We need police, but we were just here to let you guys know that we're here. If you ever have, if you ever need any help, investigating anything, or if you need a story put out, because internal investigations won't do anything. We were the ones that helped break the dog mall story. We're also the ones that did in Collier County, 7 sheriffs beat the crap out of a white guy. He was in the hospital for 3 days. We broke that story. So we really are trying. Okay. We're trying to help. And sorry that it shut. We are shocked that he just killed it like this.
Okay.
So what was your name?
Reverend Brown. Reverend Howard.
Please get a hold of me, man. Do you guys got a card? I'm shocked. I really, really am. This guy right here, John Surcan, he helps the homeless over in Charlotte County. So he's going to let you guys know that he's here too. So he helps people there. In fact, you know what's crazy? He's the one that's the guy that supposedly got away from the sheriff at the water and hung himself. That's his landlord. He knows the guy. This wouldn't have happened. Like the guy said, he knew the guy. He didn't hang himself. You know what I mean? 65? So, anyways, I'm sorry that it bombed out. All right. Oh, are we filming? Yeah, he was supposed to be. That's what I told him.
Well, why don't you want to leave it up? L.A. Daniels.
Do you not value our opinion?
All right.
Is Officer Cole ever going to face justice, Mr. Lewis?
Why, who are you with? Just a regular person? That's fine. I don't answer questions.
I'm a regular person. Hey, Andrew, I wanted you to meet David. This is Dick's friend.
Okay.
Andrew. Who are you, a regular
Andy.
person?
No, I actually am. I'm
not a regular person.
Careful! Careful! Hey, let's not waste this. Let's do coffee. What's the closest thing to here for coffee? Here's my card. Because Sir Can's here and everything. You didn't even get to meet him. He helps the homeless in Fort Charlotte.
Oh, okay. How you doing? Hi. Hi. How you doing? Yeah.
Okay, where's the closest place for coffee?
See you later, man. It was a short meeting. Sorry, I didn't get more time.
I'm not sure. Let's go over here and we'll all talk.
All right, John, we're gonna discuss over here what we're gonna do. But be careful for those bike racks. You almost got it.